So next up is a semi-professional contest scheduled for 3 4-minute rounds with Jack Carell of Paul Cage against Sam Ford of Ippon Mixed Martial Arts.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your first fighter of the cage. In the red corner, Jack Carell!
So the first fighter to the cage is Jack Carell. He is a debutant from Paul Cage Academy. He's a young fighter who's been with Andy Walker for about 18 months, following some time spent in competitive rugby and boxing. In speaking with the Paul Cage Academy guys, his boxing style is still very much evident, but Carell is no slouch on the ground, which has helped him to an undefeated inter-club record. They feel it's time for him to step up and that he's very much ready to take on the challenge this evening.
And what a great stage for this man to make his debut here at Shock and Awe 12. A fantastic show, a great card so far. I'm looking forward to a fantastic main card as well, but what we're seeing is a real elevation of the standard that we're seeing at the grassroots level, and it's fantastic to see more and more clubs using the inter-club circuit to develop young talent and to give young fighters experience, because this man may be a debutant, but he's competed before, and that's such a big advantage.
He was looking rather nervous when I saw him getting his hands wrapped, and I can see him there, he's still looking like he's a little edgy. However, the guys around him are really trying to make him feel at ease. It's just another fight. It's, as you just said, that inter-club circuit gives you a real good grounding about what it's all about, some cage awareness and that competitive feel as well.
And he's the ball of fighting out of the blue corner, Sam Ford!
His opponent, Sam Ford, representing Ippon Mixed Martial Arts and bringing a 2-1 record. He is 22 years of age. From what I understand, we're speaking with some of the Ippon guys. Sam is a bit of a fireball and combines a brawling style with a very capable ground game. He was fresh to mixed martial arts, no previous orthodox martial arts history. Jeff Lawson has been moulding this young fighter for about 4 years now. Look for him to use his brawling style to force this fight down to the ground and work for some vicious ground and pound assaults.
What a great gym for this guy to be coming out of Ippon MMA, really producing some top-level guys at the moment. And like you say, it's really interesting to me to see these guys who are coming in fresh from the sport, like you say, 22 years of age, been training for 4 years and straight into mixed martial arts. So it's brought out his natural tendencies, and it'll be really good to see him in the cage here tonight.
This is a semi-professional lightweight contest for over 3 4-minute rounds and is sponsored by G1 Nutrition. And in the red corner, he hails from Poole. He stands at a 5'11" and weighs in 155 pounds. He is fighting at the Paul Cage Academy, and this is his debut in the cage. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Jack Carell! And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. He hails from Bournemouth. He stands at a 5'9" and weighs in 155 pounds. He is fighting at an Ippon MMA and has a mixed martial arts record of 2 wins with 1 loss. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Sam Ford!
Okay guys, you both in the balls there on a nice clean fight. Listen up and obey my commands at all times. I ask you to break, you break. I tell you to stop, you stop. Yeah? Any questions from you, Jack? Any questions? Touch gloves?
Semi-professional contest, under 155 pounds. And we have Jack Carell in the white shorts with Sam Ford in the white with black. David Swan has the pleasure of officiating this one. And we're straight into the action.
Jack Carell, for me, looking the ranger of the two, but catches a big uppercut there, and you're right about that brawling fireball style. Huge punches to start with and a great takedown.
Yeah, good chin there by Carell, who took a big shot as Ford came steaming through.
Mindful of the knees at that point. Fast-paced start from this as well, we anticipated.
Really very much so. Oh, here we go, Sam Ford gesturing to Carell, let's get it on. Really looking to G his man up, arms down by his side. He's forcing his opponent up against the fence right now. Very nice turn though from Carell.
Carell looking to reap a single if he can. He gets his man up and down. There's a big takedown.
Very nicely done there by Carell. Well listened to his corner. Looked like he was trying to get this down to the mat from early on. Sam Ford looking like he's reaching for a Kimura. Looking to figure four his arms, but nicely stepped over from Carell. It's still there, however, if he doesn't keep moving.
He's got the grip, but the real danger is that he could sacrifice position for it, and that's exactly what's happened.
Well, he hasn't got control of Carell's body as he tries to do that.
In the Kimura from that position, we've seen a lot of fighters use it as a sweep. A lot of fighters use it as a distraction while they're trying to set something else up.
Carell has managed to sneak into the mount position here. Ford is now just looking to limit the movement of his man as Carell gets some space to throw in a couple of strikes.
Couldn't get that second hook in, unfortunately, and some big shots coming in over the top. Sam Ford pouring it on with some good hammer fists.
Very aggressive is Ford. Up to his feet and throwing from way back.
A great takedown there.
Oh, but he's left his head in a little bit. Nicely done, saw the danger and started working on it early.
Carell read that situation well, but a good armbar from the bottom now. Ford snaking those arms across. That looks very
really
tight. He'll do very well to get out of this. It looks like he's trying to escape, trying to roll
Carell
through.
has turned it round very nicely indeed.
And
For a man that looked so very nervous in the changing rooms earlier, he's turning into quite a wonderful fighter to watch.
And I like the fact that not only did he escape, you'd think he might have rested on his laurels a little bit, he pushed forward and won the scramble as well. So had the presence of mind after the escape to realise there was a position to be won, and he got out there and won it.
Kept nice and tight to his opponent. Oh, that's a nice sweep there by Ford. Once again, gets some posture and really windmilling through the defences of Jack Carell.
Triangle choke maybe, didn't quite get it. Now he's got to be careful giving the back up. Ford's going to be looking to flatten his man out. Great work from Carell. And for these two guys at the semi-pro level, John, it just goes to show how the level in this country is rising constantly. We're seeing guys with fantastic submission knowledge and great transitions.
It's back and forth here, just a testament to the matchmaking. As right in front of our commentary position, Jack Carell with more measured attacks, if you like.
Gotta be careful of the arm once again, though. And there's the arm. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to roll out of it this time, but there is not a lot of time left on the clock. This is very tight.
Nice defense of his arm from Jack Carell. He's got to be careful, though. Every time he goes for the strike, it looks like Sam Ford is looking for it. Wow, lots to chew over in that first round, Ben. Really good action here from these semi-professional fighters.
Great back and forth first round. Both guys having the moments in that. Very tough fight to score in a lot of respects as well, because both fighters had periods in the ascendancy.
I really like the way that Jack Carell is approaching this. It's a very honest, technical display. Sam Ford, however, he brings that aggression, the power. It's slightly more unpredictable. It's not as crisp in terms of technique, but for sure on the ground, that's not the case. He is managing to get some decent submission attempts in, and without taking a look at those replays, just to see where he went wrong and why he couldn't land those, or was it just very, very good defense from the Paul Cage Academy fighter?
Both fighters receiving instruction now from the relative corners, but for me, Sam Ford looking the more fatigued of the two. And that's the only problem, it seems, with that style, with that 100-mile-an-hour style. You go out there to finish those fights, it's like sprinting. You're throwing a fastball with every single strike, and every one of those gets harder and harder to throw as the fight draws on. It'll be really interesting to see how this second round plays out, and if it's as explosive as the first.
Well, Ford was winding up that from the changing rooms. But he's very powerful. I mean, he's obviously got good technique. I mean, he's training with Jeff Lawson. Of course, he's going to be very well schooled on the ground and with 4 years experience as well. But a bit rough around the edges, but I think that's what makes him so exciting to watch. Staying busy all the time, these young fighters. It's very good to see.
In a real dogfight position, this between two, and a great takedown there.
Using a 360 to get his man down to the mat. That was really nicely done by Corral. I think if he's come through the interclub circuit, perhaps no headshots, for example, then you have to rely on wrestling and grappling techniques. And it looks like Corral, despite being a bit of a boxer in his earlier days, has really embraced those kind of techniques.
And like you say, he's clearly a product of the environment that he's been used to competing and training in, and so many times we see it. I mean, how many times in the European scene have we seen great French fighters use positional display because they're not afforded the opportunity to use ground and pound?
Yeah. Sam Ford taking a little bit more time now, resting in that guard position. Looking just to throw through those defences.
And once again, the long legs of Corral, always looking at danger from that position, throwing up triangles, throwing up arm bars, even though it's Ford who's been the more dangerous man off his back.
Yes, Corral still sees that there's some value in getting into that top position. Decent strikes though.
Very
really
much so.
Talking his body with those as well.
And being a taller fighter as well, he's in a really good position there. Looks like he's trying to get the mount situation, and he does. Passes through. And that's a nice shot straight away. Corral means business in this position.
His mount is very loose, however, and that's allowing Sam to kind of reverse, which he does there, just powers through to get the reversals. You almost need, Jack needs to maybe look at riding those out a little bit. Throwing up a very active guard though, looking for submissions. That's cheeky from Corral, using the fence, grippy toes. Now he needs to push off. Good base though from Sam. Now Ford is actually, he chose to go to the mounts. Can Corral get out the back door though?
It's going to be a tough spot. It's a nice high mount. And a powerful guy like Sam Ford is going to give you a lot of problems for you. Now he looks like he's going for the arm again. Oh, he lost it, I think, in the transition.
And Corral looks like he's not quite safe.
Looks like he's going to try and pull out
that's right across the elbow joints. Oh, he's pulled it through. What resilience here from young Jack Corral. And the crowd really showing their appreciation. Tenacious man indeed.
For a debut fighter as well. Like I say, he's fought on the interclub circuit, but to come and put on a performance like this at a show like Shokanori is a real testament to this man's character. That's a huge chopping shot from the guard. Once again, one of the advantages of being a longer limb competitor in there. It's easier to land bigger shots from the guard position. As he looks to pass, and he does, to the side control.
I'm impressed with both of these guys. Really good, but obviously some reversal work needed by Jack Corral. He's been reversed an awful lot of the time.
Like you say, the transitional work is absolutely spot on. It's impressive, his transitions. It's simply his base that needs work.
A couple of those shots there from Ford were getting through, thudding home. As Corral gets back to his feet, a little bit disorientated. The rigors of semi-professional mixed martial arts competition is proving to show signs on both of these fighters. But a great display they're putting on for the Portsmouth crowd, Ben.
And as you say, that these fighters coming through in the semi-pro level, this is exactly what the semi-pro level is there for. It's so these fighters can gain this experience and have these tough fights. Shokanori building that reputation of a show where nobody's got an easy night, and it's only beneficial for the scene in the longer term because fighters build up good records, fighting good opposition.
Well, they're clearly ready for it. I think there's a time and a place for you to start competing in semi-professional contests. And that's when you're able to put up good defenses against strikes on the ground. You're able to work against submissions, good submission defense. We're seeing all of that and more from these two young fighters. So, The cage door is set for us to get involved in the third and final round. A little bit of excess moisture on the apron. David Swan making sure that everything's as it should be before these two go to war. Nice show of sportsmanship and appreciation for both of these guys. They'll certainly know they've been in a battle tomorrow. Some huge body shots from Sam Ford will really look to slow down his opponent. But Corral drags it down to the mat again.
You say Ford looking to swing for the fences. Corral taking his man of the canvas.
And once again, just a bump sweep to reverse his
well to
opponent.
get half guard.
Short hammer fist strikes.
He's throwing the palm there. Bas Rutten style.
A very underutilized weapon, I think you'll find. Oh, and Corral's got to be careful here. If he had that arm stuck, it is now. If Ford was to get a little bit more downward pressure, he could have made it difficult for Corral to get his right arm back, and he would have been able to throw some more unanswered shots through. But he's doing a pretty good job in this third round. The Paul Cage Academy are asking their young fighter to dig deep as we get further into the third and final round.
It's well he might in this situation as he tries to escape, but in this instance, I think it's the fact that the power of Sam Ford really making the differential. I think when both fighters are on an even keel in terms of cardio, Jack Corral could use that pure technique that he's got. As it gets down to the third and final round, when both fighters are exhausted, Sam Ford's power from this position really is proving to be a very, very tough nut to crack.
He's obviously got a good base. He has a more powerful physique. Still at only 22 years of age as well, Ben. He's yet to fully fill out, but obviously powerful. It's a technique that we can see that some people really favour in training, and you can see that he does like that bump sweep. He goes straight to it, and after it worked a few times, he's really used it to his advantage, and it's landed him in this half guard position where he's really made use of the time. Corral seizes the opportunity to get back to guard. He's got to be careful he doesn't take too many strikes. Oh, a big right hand snuck through there from Ford. Oh, and another one. Corral's head nowhere to go, really absorbing the full power on those big right hands.
Can he get his man out for the sweep? Nearly got it, but unfortunately wasn't able to quite transition there. Like you say, I think that's just a case of the conditioning really being a factor. Not saying that either of these men are in bad condition, simply the rigors and fatigues of a really tough fight.
Sam Ford was looking for, or working towards a crucifix-like position. Didn't quite get it though.
Got the arm isolated now, it looks like, but no. Corral does a good job of bringing it back in.
Ford rolling forward with that punch, nailing Corral straight on the kisser. Last 15 seconds, there's the 10-second clapper. Will we see a furious finish from one of these guys to really leave an impression on the scorecards? And for me, Sam Ford finishes the stronger fighter. But he really did appreciate the efforts in that encounter.
Both guys showing a tremendous amount of heart. What a back and forth contest that was. A real great advert for the semi-professional ranks here at Shock and Awe.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's a very nice point to make. If that's the level that everyone should be striving for at semi-pro, then we got a really good stable and crop of guys to come through in this country. The Ippon MMA team were raising their man aloft. Carell looks like he's a little bit spent. Obviously, the third round was pretty tough for him. I think he's had about 3 weeks to prepare for this fight, rather than the 6 weeks that he would have liked. Both guys putting on a very good account of themselves and could be very proud of their performances.
And at 3 rounds of action, we've had to go to the judges' scorecards. For your winner by unanimous decision, in the blue corner, Sam Ford. Let's give it up for your runner-up, Jack Carell.
Well, a fantastic win there for Sam Ford. Hard luck to Jack Carell. He put on a very good account for himself this evening, and against a lesser opponent, I'm sure he would have been victorious. But the night belongs to Sam Ford of Ippen Mixed Martial Arts. So on to the professional mixed martial arts contests, which will be fought over 3 5-minute rounds. And first up is G.I. Joe Lawrence, who is taking on Ben Hajir.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your first fighter in the cage. In the red